Best of R / Tales from Retail episode 46. Hey there, mobile so courtesy warning. Also this is just a rant because sometimes managers suck. I am a mattress store worker. My manager, will be referred to as M, decided to put a note on our computer saying we'll be in Wednesday to help you label everything in store. We are a fairly small store, but have over 1,000 products to relabel as we are doing a price change. So today is Wednesday. Waited until 1 PM to text them and ask them if they are still coming. I have not gotten a response. I have over 600 labels on my desk printed out, and I have 2 customers in the store. We close at 7. It is now 4:15. Tomorrow, regional manager will be in the store to check if we have done all of this, and if not, N will probably throw me under the bus saying I should have done it when I was off Sunday and Monday, and the regional manager was here Tuesday with me telling me things I need to fix. Update. M texted me at 4:40 saying sorry I took a nap, with no saying they were gonna come up or help or anything. Thank you. Next. Okay, this is going back to 2003. I'm working a minimum wage at a very busy gas station in the UK. I had only been there a few months. That's outstanding considering the staff turnover for this place. I know the ropes of the place and it's also, and still is, very busy. Lines of cars and trucks going down the highway and a line of customers going out the door, and I'm working alone as usual. Hundreds of customers with places to be. Cast. Me, the overworked 17-year-old with a bright future of PTSD of other mental health goodness. Next 15 years of bliss in this hellhole. Karen, old BH missing her butler and a pole up her. Customers, everyone else. Karen got out of a taxi, came up to the front of the line past 20 customers waiting patiently. Age 70 plus, dressed head to toe in a black velvet and fur coat and wearing more jewelry than I've ever seen. She also looked vaguely familiar. See at the end. She demands in a very snobby voice, I need fuel. Me, I sorry but you have to wait your turn. Karen, I need fuel and my car collected from down the road. Me and a few customers give her a weird look. If you've broken down, I have the number for a recovery service and you can use our phone, and hand her a card with the number and the phone in between customers. She just looked at the card and phone as if I put dead rats on the counter. Why can't you do it? Me, I'm afraid to say I can't. It's very busy today. Karen, no, why can't you go retrieve my car? Me wondering WTF. We're a petrol station. We don't other recovery services. Karen, nonsense. You will collect my car this instant. I'm getting annoyed by now. So are the other customers. She lets her car run out of fuel, leaves it on a gridlocked highway, gets a taxi to my station, and somehow it's my fault and responsibility rectify the situation? How? I can't close the station. I'm here on my own. I don't own a car or even have a license. I will call the recovery company for you when I have a free moment. Just be aware that they will charge a fee and need payment in cash. There is an ATM outside. She now gets red in the face. Are you stupid? Why should I pay? My car has run out of fuel. You have to deal with it. Apostrophe. I'm trying to keep cool, serve customers and finding an alternative to get her out the store at this point. In that case, there are fuel cans behind you that you can purchase and fill. Karen, very well. She picks up a 1-gallon can and slams it on the counter. Go fill it. Apostrophe. I quickly say sorry to next customer and scan the can. That will be £5. 00 and another £3. 50 to fill it. £8. 50 altogether. Karen, I'm not paying for that. It is your responsibility to provide fuel, and your customer service is atrocious. I refuse to pay. You will pay for my recovery, my fuel and my taxi. Me, then you can leave. An entire line of customers are chewing her out too, telling her get the F out. We're busy and stupid of old cow. Karen, you will hearing from me about this and I will have your job for this insolence. And she storms out and gets back into the taxi that was blocking my forecourt. We did hear back her about a week later. She had gone to customer complaints, reached the regional manager and the national HR, claiming that I was responsible for her car running out of fuel, it being abandoned on a highway, refusing to pay for towing and refueling, and being humiliated in front of other customers with demands of reimbursement and compensation for poor quality of service. Finally, a letter of apology written and signed by me with my letter of resignation. A week after this, the manager pulls me aside. She knew all about it. She heard the story from me and a few of our regular customers, as well as watched and heard it all on our security cameras. The Karen sounded crazy and looked like she had just come from a funeral. She chalked it up as being emotionally drained, senility, mental health, and said not to worry about it. She'd seen worse. Then she got the letters and phone calls from head office and that threw her theory out the window. She handed me a copy of the letter that was sent to Karen stating she was barred from all of our company's stations nationwide and informed that the company or all members of staff are not charities. I read the name and realized she was my old principal from primary school. She was an old hellhound when I was 5 and looks like she just got worse as she got older. See you in hell, Mrs. M. Thank you. Next. Short story here, but it blew my mind today. I work the customer service desk and one of my first customers today brought a Stanley dustbuster to return. He said one must have opened it and stolen the rechargeable battery out of the box before he bought it because it wasn't in there. I opened the box, looked at the dustbuster and the wall mount charger, and realized it looked like the battery was an internal battery. I told the customer, I think it's an internal battery, and started searching the box for something saying as much. He wasn't being rude when he said this, but he said to me, I don't care what you're looking for, I just want to return it. I said, alright, whatever you say, sir. As soon as I was done with the return, he said, if you find the battery, I'll buy it back. So I picked the thing up and pushed the power button. Sure enough, the little motor started and the dustbuster turned on. I turned it off and said, the battery is internal, sir. He said, no, the battery isn't here. I turned it on and left it on, holding it up in plain sight. I said, sir, it's running, as he insisted the battery is still missing and was looking around as if he was going to find it on the desk. Myself, my associate next to me, and the customer she was taking care of were trying so hard not to laugh. The guy eventually realized what was happening and bought it back. He had a good laugh at himself about it. Thank you. Next. I work in fairly small supermarket in Australia, and I don't know if you've heard but our country has had a few bushfires recently. Even though I'm in West Australia, 4,000 km from the fires, we have had several fires of our own and several major road closures. Between fires in the south and storms and flooding in the north and the fact that we are already isolated AFW, is essentially cut off from the rest of Australia for almost 2 weeks. Which has led to a few supply issues, so stores have had no choice but to source some fruit and veg from overseas. Q Eco Warrior E.W. Me, blithely stocking mandarins. Hi, how are you today? E.W. Sniff, are these from Egypt? By law we have to label where all our fresh produce comes from. Me, yes, unfortunately with the fires, I got no further. E.W. Importing produce via air may as well have caused the fires in the first place. Do you know the carbon footprint of these? Me. E.W. I refuse to buy imported produce. Go out the back and get me some local ones. Me. These are the only mandarins we have. E.W. Don't be ridiculous. Orchards keep them in cold storage all the time. Get me some of them. Me. Let me ask the produce manager if he can get some. I don't care. I'm paid by the hour, so out the back I go. Surprise, surprise. No mandarins, no cold storage, no orchard, also no manager. He was at lunch. Have a glass of water. Off I go. I'm so sorry, but the storage ones have all been used and the local orchards won't begin harvesting for several months and some of the eastern ones have burned to the ground. E.W. Well, you know whose fault that is, don't you? Flying produce from overseas is incredibly detrimental for the environment, which is what caused these fires in the first place. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm shopping elsewhere. Me. Thank fuck for that. Good luck. As I finish the mandarins and turn to start the lemons, I see they're grown in Israel. FML. Thank you. Next. It's your local cash supervisor back at it with a holiday customer story. This one takes place at the end of a very long Christmas Eve shift. Just as I'm taking the tills down for the night. Me. CC. Cheapo customer. Me. Hey. Happy holidays. How's it going this evening? CC, I know I can get 10% off of this book. ME, alright, how's that? We have a membership program, so I said this politely, thinking he had a loyalty card. CC, it's a little banged up. I know you have a damage policy. ME, yes. Our policy actually reads that I can only discount it if it's the last copy in the store, so let me check our stock on that book. Alrighty, it looks like that's the last copy. I'll take that 10% off for you. CC, I have another question. You'll probably have to ask your manager, though. Go get her. ME, if it's about the price, I'd be happy to help. CC, I want 20% off of this book. ME, may I ask why? CC, yes you may. You see, it's very simple. This book is $145. ME, no. CC, that's ludicrous. Why can't you give me 20% off when other location gave me 50% off one time? ME, other location used their discretion, and I'm using mine. Perhaps you'd prefer to shop there from now on instead. CC, that's nice, bitch. The customer picked up the book and walked off. I'm almost certain he walked straight out of the store with the book in his hands, but hey, if he wants to risk facing shoplifting charges on Christmas Eve, that's on him. Thank you. Next. So I work for a well-known pharmacy/retail chain, and the company says they can't be held liable for any damage done to employee vehicles while on the clock. So my story starts today around 2:30. Very short story. I just finished checking out an elderly woman, and started on the next customer. A few seconds into the transaction I look over to my right and see the old lady jamming her keys into my shiftlord's huge SUV. And I mean her bags are on the ground and she's tearing up the lock because her key doesn't fit. I called my shift lead over the intercom to tell her, and she runs outside to get the woman to stop. And the old lady starts freaking out, and yells out loud "Oh, this ice!" My car then proceeds to walk 3 parking spots over to her actual car, not even close to an SUV, and left. I didn't get to see the keyhole, but I am guessing it's torn up from the old hag trying to break into it. Thank you. Next. Everyone in retail has had the dumb customer. Maybe the person doesn't see the bright glaring sale sign. Maybe the person is standing next to the product they're asking you to help them find. Maybe they ask you to help them find the product you're currently stocking. Maybe the person asks you to read the sales tag to be certain what's in their hand is what is on the shelf even though they just picked it up. These have all happened to me, but the following has them all beat. I currently work in a beer department of a small chain of grocery stores in a small city. We used to have the wine depot right next to the beer, separated by a short wall that people can walk around. We recently were given a liquor license, so the wine depot was pretty much cut in half, so it's beer, liquor, wine. We also have 2 phones for the area on each end with the same extension. I got a call the other day, a customer asking for some bitters, which I know we at least used to have in the wine area before everything was shifted around. I tell the lady that I need to check to see if we still have them and put her on hold. Sure enough, we still do. I tell her it's in the liqueur aisle, top shelf. The lady states that the woman told me it's near the vodka. She must have meant my boss. I explain that it's near the low-proof vodka, not the real stuff we just got in. The lady then asks me to help her find the bitters as she's been standing there for 10 minutes and no one will help her. Odd, I was just there. She was calling from the wine department, I guess. I told her I'd be back over and we hung up. I walk back to the aisle and I don't see anyone. I call out. No reply. I look around and I don't see anyone. There isn't a soul to be found in any of the sections. Turns out the woman was calling from an entirely different store than ours and had called before. My boss thought she was one of the customers standing in an aisle and told her to look near the vodka.